Don't be afraid of the dark. Be careful with stars. Not every light is gonna guide you, baby. Don't let them rain on your spark. Keep it close to your heart. All of the pressure's
Hello,
gonna
everyone,
drive you crazy.
and welcome to what seems to be is going to be another beautiful sunset. And today we are going to be talking about running and my marathon and running journey. I thought today was a perfect day to do that. Had an easy run this morning. The mind is clear. It is also a very beautiful day today. And even though we got a little bit of rough seas, it's a little windy, it's the right time. As you may or may not be aware, I am running the London Marathon 2025 this year, next month, actually, April 27th. So I've been training extremely hard for this race. And it's actually part of a bigger series, which is known as the 6 World Major Marathons. And I'm trying to complete that journey, if you will. So those marathons include Berlin, London, Tokyo, Chicago, Boston, and New York. And so far I have completed four of those marathons. So I've done Berlin, Boston, Chicago, and New York. And I believe in that order. I have left London, which is next month, and then hopefully I get into Tokyo next year. And I started this journey, at least my running journey, in 2016, and it all started with a Euro trip, my first ever Euro trip to Berlin with one of my best friends, and we actually went to Germany for Oktoberfest of all things. And I had already planned to run my first marathon, which was here in Jamaica, the Negril Reggae Marathon, and I thought I'd be training while going on this basically beer drinking centered first ever for me Euro trip. And I brought my running shoes, and of course there was no running done whatsoever. However, on one of the mornings that we woke up in our hostel, St. Christopher's Hostel, I remember that, in Berlin, we came down, and it was probably the afternoon at this time, or at least the late morning, and there were a bunch of people coming back from the Berlin Marathon, and they were showing off their medals that they got, and everybody was curious, asking them questions. And I'm like, damn, this is awesome. I was like, I want that feeling. I want to know what that feels like. And I had no idea about the Berlin Marathon or even the 6 World Major Marathon Challenge. When I got back home from the trip, I decided, hey, I'm going to look into this and see what it takes to get into this marathon. And I knew nothing about marathoning. I knew nothing about how to get into them and qualifying or anything like that. And even at that point, I've never ran one. And so I decided to try to get in the following year, but of course that's not how it works. You have to qualify, you have to go with a travel group sometimes, and I had none of that under my belt, none of those qualifying times. And so that's where I started to learn about these 6 majors, and I got inspired to start running these marathons. So one thing that I didn't realize with this marathon journey was how transformative it was going to be for me in just so many aspects of life. And kind of going back to the qualifying times, and this is one of these examples of this transformation, is when I was looking at Tokyo. At the time to qualify for that race, I believe it was like a 240 marathon or a 242 marathon or something like that. And at that point, I hadn't even broke a 3-hour marathon. So in order to break a 3-hour marathon, you're probably looking at like a 6:52 per mile pace, if I remember correctly, 6:50, 6:52. And I was like, this is impossible. There's no way I could run a 240, 2 hours and 40 minutes, 2 hours and 42-minute marathon. And why do they make it so hard? And I kind of started blaming the system. And why do they make it so far hard for people who want to accomplish this goal? And so the crazy thing is this, after just committing to the process and deciding that I'm going to do this every day, and falling in love with the routine and falling in love with the process more than anything else, I started to run those qualifying times during practice. I'd be on a 20-mile, 22-mile run and running 6-minute mile pace like it was nothing. And when I was thinking about the Tokyo Marathon and qualifying for that time, I had completely convinced myself, and this was gospel, that it was impossible for me to do this. And there was no way that I'd be able to achieve a 2:40 marathon time in order to qualify for the Tokyo Marathon. And yet, however many years later, 3, 4 years later, I'm doing it in practice and I'm doing it on my long run. And I'm holding this pace like it's nothing. And so like what that essentially taught me was that you cannot put limits on yourself and you cannot put limits on what you can do. And I can't tell you how much self-confidence that had given me, and this whole entire journey has given me. And it really made me feel like I could do anything. And I was telling my friend this a while back, like if I didn't find or get on this journey of running and have this incredibly transformational experience while doing so, there would be no Throt Media, there would be no Throt YouTube channel, because like so much of my confidence honestly really came from running in like a really, really, really big way.
Put your hands together for Win the Wellington!
You know, with that, I hold running in this extremely, extremely high regard, and I'm so, so thankful that I found it. And it has given me so much. It has allowed me to see the world. It has allowed me to bring my dad on many, many of my journeys. When I first started, he was at every single one of my marathon races. And even the partnership that we find that we have with the prefecture of Tottori in Japan, it came through running. And I was able to represent Jamaica twice, 2 years in a row, going to Japan and running their marathon and representing Jamaica, representing Westmoreland, representing Negril, all from running. And then from that, we developed relationships with people in the Tottori Prefecture government and talked to their Department of Education. And next thing you know, in 2019 in the summer, we're bringing 11 kids from Jamaica to Japan as part of an exchange program. And now Japan has become just part of my life. Tottori has become part of my family's life and Neat's life. And now we're taking 12 more students to Japan in August. And this all came from my journey with running. And it's like one of those things, you never know where your commitment to something is going to take you. You never know what opportunities it's gonna open up for you. You never know the lives that you're going to touch and the impact that you're gonna have on others just by committing to something. And this is like a quintessential example of that. As my running journey continues and I go after these two last majors, hopefully in the next year or so, you know, it's been a great journey, and it's been a journey of, you know, partially finding myself, finding my passion, yes, in running, but then also in being a filmmaker and being a YouTuber and figuring out a way to have a disproportionate impact on my community and for my family through YouTube. And this all came from running. You know, this all came from the decision of like, hey, I want to run a marathon. And I could tell you when I first started, it was just terrible. It was just terrible, and I sucked at it, right? And it's just one of those things. And I think that like marathoning, being a runner, is like a lesson in continuously starting over. And I learned that lesson early on in my running career. My first marathon I ran in just under 4 hours, didn't know what I was doing in training. It was coming off of that Euro trip to run Reggae Marathon, and I strained my IT band, which I didn't even know what an IT band was, from overtraining. And I remember finishing that race and I said, I'm never ever doing this thing again. I'm never running a marathon again. And then after I healed up, the emotions came down. I was like, I'm not letting this race get the best of me. I'm not letting running a marathon get the best of me. And I decided to take it head on. And essentially I got addicted. You know, that's really what happened at the end of the day. I really got addicted to this thing and I loved it, you know, and I haven't looked back since. And going back to the the ideology of running being this practice of like starting over, you know, and being new at something. You get injured from time to time, and you have setbacks, you know, and the setback could be in life, the setback could be in running in itself, and it teaches you to kind of get back on that horse, you know. And that recently happened to me. I've been out almost 2 years, you know, and it's been a really tough journey mentally and of course physically, trying to get back my fitness and everything like that, but with just another lesson in starting over again. And I'm grateful for that, you know, extremely grateful for that. And as my journey continues, I'm still trying to get PRs on, you know, run my personal best. Right now, my personal best is 2 hours, 36 minutes and 37 seconds, I believe. So you're looking at just under a 6-minute mile pace for 26.2 miles. And I'm trying to go faster than that. You know, my goal is to get 2:29:59 to break that 2:30 barrier at the end of the day. And hopefully I can do that. It's not going to be in London next month, you know. It's not going to be this year, you know. It's going to take time to really build back up that high level elite fitness, and I'm looking forward to the journey in the biggest of ways. And I'm excited to be back running every day. I'm excited to be having the routine of getting up, stretching, running, coming back, sometimes jumping in the sea, getting refreshed, and then starting the day. And I feel so lucky to be doing it right here in the Grill on this beach, and one of the best training grounds I can possibly ask for. It's super hot, don't get me wrong. It's very hot, and it's miserable, and it's very tough conditions. But man, when I get to a place like England or Germany or New York, oh my gosh, I always say it's like when Superman came from his home planet and came to Earth. He's just like this superhuman, because when I go to these cooler climates, it just doesn't compare to the humidity and the heat here in training. And so it's just like, it's just literally like a breeze, or like a crazy breeze, like very super easy. Yeah, so the journey continues in a big way, and I'm so looking forward to London 2025, and just being part of this community and being on this journey with so many others, because everybody has their story, you know, everybody has their reason why they're running, and all of those stories and all of those reasons are incredibly important. And you know, for those who are out there who are considering getting into running, considering doing a marathon, I highly encourage you to do it. It is just a beautiful community, a very welcoming community, I can tell you that. And it is so extremely fulfilling. And I can tell you from my own personal experience, and I feel so lucky to be able to do it. And I know there are some people out there who just can't, you know, physically or otherwise, they're unable to do it. And it's I don't know, I just feel so great to be doing it. So, you know, I hope that gives you an idea of like what my journey has been like, and why I'm doing it. And hopefully you see the fun and enjoyment. You can feel it from me. And you know, I miss racing, you know, I miss marathons, and Berlin was my first major that I did. And that's when I really fell in love with marathoning and being a part of this community, because it was just the crowd in the streets. It was just like so consistent, like right through, like crazy. And then the lead up and the build up. I mean, I just love every aspect of this sport, traveling to these different countries and being able to meet runners from all over the world. And so many times you see the same people over and over again. So anyway, that's one thing. You never ask a runner about running, because they will go on and on. And my brain is just keep going. There's so many stories and so many insights to it. And I just thought this would be a great opportunity to share where I'm coming from, where I'm going, and some of my goals within my running journey. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoy that little story time, and we're gonna give you a beautiful sunset. I will see you guys tomorrow.
You're so